Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Happy Thursday. Oh my God, I almost said happy Monday. Happy Thursday. We'll get back to that in a second. How is everyone today? It's Thursday. Ooh, there's a card. It's things to think on Thursday. I'll be pulling from the Affirmators deck, whatever wisdom, snarky wisdom it has for us today. But I've had a lot of things running through my mind, surprisingly. I've had a lot of things running through my mind because it was a long night of not being able to sleep. And I have thoughts on that. And that's actually what I'm going to share on the things to think on Thursday. It's going to be hot today too. It's going to be like, I think 100 out here in the East County. So, yeah, sorry. I'll get to why that'll be happening quite a bit. Losing my thoughts. All right, let's just kind of see what we got here. Okay. Card number 1. This one flew out of the deck. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This feels like validation. The pineapple. Take a deep breath or 3 and then straighten your crown. So I'm going to hold on to this because I'm actually going to use this as part of things to think on Thursday. And hopefully I'll remember why I saved it. I know. Oh, wow. Okay, here's another one I'm going to save for things to think on Thursday because that's going to really, kind of, it'll be good. So here's technically what should be the first guidance card. The world is lucky to have you. If you do not believe this, a healthy dose of self-love is in order, okay? Because the world is lucky to have you. Maybe you don't feel like it. Maybe it doesn't feel like it all around you. Maybe you feel like you were struggling every moment of every day. Your struggles could be inspiring to someone else. And you may not even realize it. Sometimes people go onto Twitter because that's their community. That's the only place they feel like, they can be themselves, or, that a lot of times people don't have a lot of people around them. So they find their community there, one hashtag and bam, somebody's inviting you, hey, follow this community. And you find people there that are like you. And so a lot of times you'll just post because, maybe you need that support. Maybe you need that guidance for that day. And sometimes, the fact that you're reaching out for help can actually inspire a lot of people. Good morning, older sibling. So remember, the world is lucky to have you. And like I said, if you don't feel that, if you don't feel like you're vibing with that, take a deep breath and remind yourself that you are worthy of self-love, that you are just fabulous and awesome just the way you are. Okay, if there's changes you want to make to yourself, then make them. But don't shame yourself, okay? Because I spent too many years doing that, and it blows. It sucks. Because you don't trust yourself, and then you are the one person in this entire world that you should trust. This is one of my favorites. The sweet life. Don't forget to enjoy the little things. The quiet moments. Now, it's not always about the quiet moments. I was just telling older sibling yesterday, it's like, I love the little things. The little things absolutely bring me joy. Sorry, something on my glasses. They do. They absolutely bring me joy because, big grand gestures are always fun, right? I mean, they're always fun. They're exciting. They're delightful. But it's sometimes those little things, just those little thoughts that's, thoughtful moments. Like, I had mentioned this in the early days of the vibe / perspective, because it was the vibe back then, how sometimes I would just walk back to my desk, when I was working at where I was working, and there would just be like either a little toy, like a tiny little toy, like maybe something like this behind me, my geek shelf. There'd be a little toy, maybe just a little like piece of candy, or just something cute, sometimes a pen that someone found that they forgot to give me from their vacation. And it was always so sweet. And then I'd spend half the day trying to figure it out when it's like the first person I knew I should thank was the last person I would actually go to. But I know, it's just, I would second guess myself. But it was always so sweet. And you're just like, aw, Or they would come by and it's like, well, how come you haven't eaten that yet? And it's like, because I'm enjoying the fact that somebody thought of me. So it's the little things. And it's also when we do little things for other people, like when we leave the candy or the toy or the little note saying, hey, have a great day, on somebody's desk. One of my former coworkers, she used to call me fairy godmother because I could manifest stuff for her like that. And good morning, baby sibling. She would leave little post-its on my note. Have a great day, fairy godmother. I mean, that was just our thing. That's just what she called me when she IM'd me. It was FGM. So, it's truly the little things. And remember, it's not always about what you can give somebody. It's what you can say to someone, what you can offer to someone, through your verbal intentions. So, Gryffindor. Courage, bravery, daring, determination, nerve, and chivalry. I feel like that's for me today. And even though I'm a Hufflepuff, a proud Hufflepuff, I think we all start out wanting to be Gryffindor. Seriously. Well, most of us. I know some people who just totally vibe with Slytherin. But anyways, because, it was Harry Potter's house. And then we do the test and we're like, oh. And then you find other people to start embracing. So Fantastic Beasts comes out a week from tomorrow, I believe. And actually, I think it comes out a week from today. The pre-showings, right? But a week from tomorrow, Fantastic Beasts comes out. And the star of that movie was a Hufflepuff. That's right. Newt Scamander was a Hufflepuff. So there you go. A little Harry Potter trivia there for you. But courage, bravery, daring, determination, nerve, and chivalry. Courage and bravery. When you are on a healing path, I don't think we ever realize, and sometimes we don't even see it until we're on the other end of it, till we're walking towards that light. We see that light, it's getting brighter, 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 bigger, bigger, bigger. How much courage, bravery, daring, and determination it took to get through that tunnel, to get through that journey. So if you feel stuck, or you feel like you're at the beginning of the process, or you feel like you're stuck in the middle of the process, just remember, it has taken you courage and bravery, or it has taken courage, bravery, daring, determination, nerve, and kind of chivalry, right? Because you got to be your own hero. You got to be your own champion. I literally just posted something. It says, be your own champion. And that doesn't mean you can't look to other people. What it means is that, again, how many times do I have to say this? I just say it over and over again because I know not everybody watches every show. That you are with you 365, 24/7, or 24/7, 365. You are the one most important relationship you will ever have in your life. And if you don't trust yourself, if you don't encourage yourself, you're doing yourself a great disservice. And I would say that's from my perspective, but I would say that is definitely not just my perspective. That is from my experience. Because I'm learning to trust myself. That's right. I said learning. I didn't say learn. I didn't say I've learned to trust myself. I said I'm learning to trust myself. And I'm learning to trust this process. And that's kind of almost the period on my sentence. Or the exclamation mark. Right? So let's pull one more and then we'll go into what we want to talk about before I lose all my thoughts. Think positive thoughts. Ding! Dun, 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 dun. It's a light bulb right above your head. Think positive thoughts. We may get a little punchy here. I'm not sure. But think positive thoughts. Okay, I'm feeling like I need one more. So, don't forget to have fun, be playful, and be attentive. I love this dog. And what happens when you put him this way? Still weird. Yes, I love this dog. I know. He's so cute. He's so cute. Don't forget to have fun, be playful, and be attentive. Okay? And that means in all areas of your life. With your people, without your people, whatever it is you have to do. Just remember, don't forget to have fun in this life. I forgot that for a while. I was so, the problem with me, and I don't know if this is a Capricorn thing or what, but one of my biggest problems in life is that I get laser focused sometimes on things. And it's really like, putting your nose to the grindstone, that you just forget everything else around you. You forget to have fun. You forget to be attentive. You forget to be playful. And you're just sitting there going, You're just kind of stuck. And then because you're forgetting all these things, you're sitting there going like, why do I feel so blah? Why am I so blue? And then you find out, well, maybe I'm not blue. Maybe this is just how it feels to not carry that anchor of dread. And I'm kind of going back into what I've talked about last week. And it's just this amazing feeling when you realize what happens when you add fun into your life. And I mean, people can ride that high for days, and if we allow it to come into our life, if we allow ourselves to get up and even just move around, go outside. In my deepest, darkest spirals, I could literally stay in this house, and I have for 7 days in a row, not once walking outside. And that's only been within the last couple of years, right? Because before, when I was working, I had to leave the house. But my spirals and my depression got so dark that I would just, after I would turn off the camera and upload everything, I literally would just mentally shut down and just kind of ignore the world. And I have to say, I truly believe I'm one of those people that believes everything happens for a reason. And I wouldn't have chosen the way this happened. But just like when my mom passed away, this really awkward start to my healing started. And I was second guessing everything. I was judging everything about myself. I was thinking, I can't do this without her. Because mom was always telling me that, I mean, one of her things that she said to me during our long talks was, I worry about you because I won't be here to help you stay strong. And I don't think either one of us ever realized how strong I actually was to survive some of the things I did. And that's okay. Because I think for me, having that duality that I talked about several times, probably last week or the week before, is that I leaned very heavily on my parents for that support when I was a child, when I was going through those things and not wanting to think about this poor, in the room with no windows and no doors. Sounds like the Haunted Mansion. Inner child that was just trying to ignore everything bad that was happening to her. And just leaning on my parents for all that love and support and that joy, because I wanted to embrace that. And that's kind of where I learned and started building and weaving together those chains that would literally tie that anchor of dread to me for a long, long time. And so much so buried that I didn't even realize that's what it was. I thought it was normal to have that, the waiting for the other shoe to drop feeling, or what's going to go wrong next, or what can go wrong next feeling in you. But apparently it's not that, it's common, but it's not necessarily normal. But it felt normal to me until I realized, wait a minute, and by doing these perspectives, it's helped me along too. But my real true healing over the last 7 years since my mom has passed really kind of started when my dad ended up in the hospital. Very bad choices on his part. And I don't mean food. I mean, just to kind of catch people up to speed. When my father and I took our trip together a couple years ago, I drive and he drives. And, I love to drive. So I didn't mind taking, part of the long hauls. And, I love my dad. Just as a side note, like we had to drive from one end of Nevada to Utah. Oh my God. It's like literally we crossed the state diagonally from one corner to the other corner and, or one end to the other. And I never think about how much I drive, but he will sit there and go, oh, Shelly Marie drove most of the way, or Shelly drove most of the way, but we'll share it. But when he was on the trip with my aunt, my dad did all the driving and he was so afraid he'd have to stop that he stopped taking one of his pills. Okay, yeah, don't do that. Turns out what he thought was not that big a deal was the most important pill in his regimen for his heart. But that being said, I went and bought a notebook because I didn't have my journal with me and I needed to get something out. And it was the first time I actually launched myself into shadow work, true shadow work, going deep. And I didn't even realize that's what I was doing at first, until all of a sudden it kind of just popped out of my mind. And it's like, oh. And then I Googled it. It's like, whoa, okay. And then My dad ended up in the hospital again, very briefly. It was just to kind of get his oxygen levels back up because he was at the tail end of COVID. And I started the 2.0, Floof 2.0 book and did even more shadow work. And I thought I was done. At the end of that Floof 1.0 book, I'm like, I'm done. Floof 2.0, let's see all the magical things that's going to happen. It's like, no, it was more shadow work. It was more shadow work. And right now I'm doing my 117-day project, which turns out to be like a 3.0 book. But I'm seeing how I'm progressing each time. And I'm seeing how the healing's going. I was talking to a friend this morning. And they made a comment saying, oh, good. Well, at least you're moving along. I'm taking, I kind of like paraphrasing because, I can't exactly look at my text right now because I'm talking to you. But kind of paraphrasing, they just made a comment like, I'm glad one of us is moving along. And I had to explain that I've been on this journey for a very long time. I mean, I've been on this healing journey for 7 years, but I'm healing decades of pain, of trauma, of pushing it down, which causes more trauma because it affects other areas of your life if you leave it unchecked. I was literally like a volcano that wasn't dormant but wasn't active until all of a sudden, bam, and it just like fireworks or just shooting rocks and molten lava everywhere, right? It causes messes. It causes fires that you have to put out. I mean, how many people work in an office and say, oh my God, we got a fire. We have to put out a fire today. So, and I don't mean like fireman office. I mean like that's a term that I'm sure a lot of people use in their offices. It's like, no, we have a fire to put out right now. Everybody has to focus on this. And you're like, okay. And they told me, well, I've been on this journey and they've been on their journey almost as long as I've been on mine. And I just tried to explain that it's like, it wasn't until these last few months that I really made the most progress because I stopped resisting. And by stopping resisting, I started trusting myself. Last night, I had something poking at me like you would not believe. That's what baby sibling and I call it when we just feel like all this chaotic energy around us. It's like something's poking. And I was telling older sibling this morning, I said, I felt this happening. And I said, I got into my head. And it's like, I wasn't doom scrolling on social media. I was doom scrolling in my mind about every bad scenario. And then all of a sudden, I just kind of felt something click inside of me. And I stopped. And I thought, you know what? I will not surrender my power to you. And to whatever it is. It could be a myriad of descriptions, right? Demons, devil, bad energies, baddies. That's what I call them. Like, it just feels so less intimidating than some of the other words, right? I mean, I grew up a Catholic, so some of those other words hold some pretty heavy weight. But I do have a very large spiritual table. But I actually sat and prayed, and I asked God for guidance. I asked God for help. That's right. That's right. I believe in the universe. I believe in a lot of gods and goddesses, but I still believe in God. Because it's my right to do that. Just like it's anybody's right to do that. We should not judge one another on what we believe. It's what gets us through. Right? I mean, if I went out and said, oh yeah, I was sitting in my brain today fighting off the baddies, people would be like, what the hell are you talking about? But it works for me because I know what it is. It's my terminology. And if other people pick it up and use it, hey, more power to you. It's like picking up a sword, right? That invisible sword that helps you fight these invisible thoughts and things that get stuck in your head. And it's our way of learning how to move forward, how to find that balance, how to maintain that balance. You don't just heal and everything's all better. You have to maintain that balance. You have to trust yourself enough that when you fall off your perch, you will figure out how to get back up. You will figure out how to rise, right? I mean, does a phoenix truly ever die? No. It rises from the ashes, and it'll do it over and over and over again. And so yesterday, I went out and had coffee with Cheryl. I call her Ate Jr., but I went out and had coffee with Cheryl, and I had a flat white and a slow drip. She didn't like the slow drip because she's not really a coffee. I mean, she's not like a black coffee drinker, and I like any kind of coffee. Some of it's too bitter, but that was too bitter for her, so I drank it. Now, mind you, the only reason I'm sharing this is because it was caffeine. I know. But what was interesting about it is that yesterday after the perspective, I was journaling while the video was uploading, and I made a very conscious decision to step into this new chapter of my life. I believe yesterday I talked a few times about how I kept saying I was in it, how I kept talking about being in it, but how I wasn't in it. I was just kind of looking at it. You know, it's like standing at the water and just letting it roll over your feet. That's about how immersed I was in my new chapter. Because I was afraid. I had doubts. What if I fuck up again? What if I mess up again? Well, I never fucked up to begin with, and I never messed up to begin with. I was just finding new ways to be better. I was finding what didn't work for me and leaving it behind. But then sometimes I would get so comfortable with a certain feeling, I would run back. I cannot tell you how many times I've tried to pick up that anchor of dread and replace it back into my soul. I don't want it there. I don't want that underlying feeling that, you know, the best way I can explain it for people that don't understand what my anchor of dread feels like. Imagine you eat healthy, right? But you go out and you're like, okay, I'm going to try this tonight because I'm just going to cut loose. And then you're like, oh my God, why did I do that? And it just feels like it sits in your stomach, right? It feels like it just sits there for days. And you're like, oh. That's kind of what it feels like. Except you learn how to live with it. Because it's an ongoing process. You learn how to deal with it. You're just kind of like, okay, well, it is what it is. And you figure out your own ways of moving forward while dragging this anchor of dread. I mean, I think I even tried to add chains to this thing, okay? Chain links to this anchor to anchor it back to myself. And I had to keep catching myself and keep saying, stop it. Until last night, like I said those words. I'm looking at it right now because I put it right next to choose to be happy. I will not surrender my power. Now, people are probably thinking, God, you got post-it notes for everything. I do. Because I'm telling you, my brain sometimes goes in so many directions, whether it's being creative, whether it's writing, or creating new things, that I need that reminder. I need that reminder. But what was interesting about yesterday was, we were going to meet either yesterday or today just to catch up because it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen each other. We were just going to catch up over coffee, and she picks this place, which is not far from my house, called Reborn Coffee. And I'm only mentioning them and the name because I'm sitting there like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Okay. Not putting anything into the name of it or anything. Okay. I know. I'm sorry I'm repeating myself. I'll get to the why in a second. But I ordered my drink because she hadn't gotten there yet. And it came in a cup and saucer. All you people who know me know I've been dying to find a cafe again that will serve me in a cup and a saucer. Seriously, I was so giddy. And then I was like doing the total careful walk to the table because I wanted the little heart thing. And I mean, I posted a picture on it on my social media because it was so pretty. I mean, the way they did it was so beautiful. And all of a sudden when, Cheryl got to the door, I don't know why, they had two sets of doors. One set was just locked, but she gets to the door and all of a sudden it dawns on me because I'm reading the words backwards, but it finally hits my head. Reborn. And I thought, oh my God, this morning I chose to embrace my new chapter. And now I'm sitting in a cafe called Reborn. It was validating for me. And what was even more interesting is that while I was trying to get a picture, I know I don't take a picture of a lot of things anymore, but when some things are so pretty, I have to, because it's like art, okay? I mean, people work hard to make something beautiful for you. I mean, it's like when you see these bakers, right? They make these beautiful cakes or these beautiful pastries, and it's just art. It's like edible art. But once you're done eating it, it's gone. So you have nothing to look at. There's no memory except in your head. And so I'll take a picture of it. But I was trying to get the perfect picture because I kept getting weird angles, or my camera would, get all blurry. I literally sat there for 5 minutes trying to get this picture because I couldn't save it and I couldn't figure out why my phone kept freezing. But then, how I believe everything happens for a reason. This woman walks by and says, she's all, you need to get that perfect picture. I'm like, I know, right? And I just casually said, because I was so excited, I'm like, I'm so old that I remember when cafes only had cups and saucers. And I don't mean coffee shops, guys. I mean cafes where you could go and you could listen to music. And that was my early 20s. But we didn't have like the ginormous amount of Starbucks and Coffee Beans and Peak's Coffee. And we had a local one, which, Diedrich's Coffee, which used to be in Orange County. We didn't have those yet. Starbucks kind of put all that on the map. Before, you had to go to like these, they were like bar cafes, and my friends and I, when we were like in our, we couldn't drink yet, so we're like 18 or 19, we're going to these cafes and listening to live music. And the first apartment I lived in, there was a place called the I think it was called the Patio, and they had couches, and all the coffee was served. It was almost like Friends, right? When the I can't remember the Central Perk. It was kind of like that. And it was just, it reminded me. And I've just been searching long and hard to find a place like that. And I finally did. But while I was struggling, this person stops. Next thing I know, we're Instagram friends. And she, I love the way she talked. She's very metaphysically minded. She was talking about, she kept saying, I want to get all these goddesses together and we just sit there and create. It's not about competition when we sell things. It's about empowering one another to believe in their work and to put out what they need to put out, because there's always somebody somewhere to buy one or the other person's thing. And I thought, God, it's like, what a beautiful lesson I'm learning right now. Because this person had so much trust. And then when I was reading about her, because she's like, yeah, check out my bio and check out the link in my bio. And it's like, okay. And we followed each other. And she went through a lot. And I'm like, wow, she went through so much. And here she is empowering somebody else. And I'm not new on this journey, but I'm new in this chapter of my life. And, so I decided that today was the day I was going to go to the beach and reintroduce myself back into this world, to really kind of immerse myself into this new chapter. Now, a lot of times things I do are very symbolic. So I'm like, I don't care how cold the ocean is, I'm going in. And I'm dunking myself in to that water. And I wouldn't, some people would call it like a baptism if you're religious. But for me, it's reconnecting with Mother Nature. And my favorite way of reconnecting is, we don't have a lot of forests around here unless you drive super far. And come on, if you live where I live, traffic is a bear. So when you go up to the mountains or you go to the forest, it is usually not just an all-day thing, but it's something you want to do to stay overnight. And I do love being amongst the trees. I do love being amongst, the earthy part of Mother Nature. But I'm a water baby, and I love water. And that's where I find my most healing. That's where I find my rejuvenation. Even baby sibling told me at the beginning of this really hardcore part of my journey, she's all, you need to go to the beach at least once a month and get your feet in that water to reconnect. And she just knew. She just knew that that's what touches me the most. And like I said, I do love spending time amongst the trees. There's something beautiful, period, about Mother Nature, whether you're surrounded by trees and grass and all that stuff. Although there are no bugs in the ocean. There are sharks, but there are no spiders in the ocean. I know. I had to. But I thought, I'm going to go do this. Now, one of the reasons I brought up the coffee thing is at 3 o'clock this morning, 3:30 almost, I posted that picture of my coffee because I forgot all day. And I kept thinking, oh, okay, this is keeping me up all night. This is why I can't sleep, because all that caffeine. I am normally a decaf person just because, I'm trying to do what's best for my heart. My heart works fine and I'd like to keep it that way. But every so often I can have caffeine, or I will have caffeine, whether I can or not. And I blamed it on that. But after 2 naps, an hour and a half each, I realized it was my subconscious keeping me awake. And by that, what I'm saying by that is that, or what I mean by that is that when I immerse myself in that ocean today, I'm taking on a responsibility to really, truly give myself 100%, 110% to this new chapter of my life. I'm giving myself that permission to carry my story without carrying the pain anymore. I can still honor my story and respect my story without having to feel it anymore. I for a long time, I thought I had to carry that pain. I thought the only way to honor my story and to truly be able to connect with other people and understand other people was to feel that dread, to feel that anchor of dread that put me there in the first place. And I thought, no, I don't need to do that. I can honor my story. I can share my story. And then on top of that, I can also show people, hey, you can move forward. You can find a way to heal. It doesn't always happen for everyone. Some people have to push through a lot more to survive every day. And I recognize that. But for a lot of people that are just like me, healing is attainable. And I truly believe, to be honest with you, that in my perspective, I truly believe healing is attainable for anybody. But a lot of times we get so comfortable in these feelings that we have. We get so comfortable in, this pattern that we're in, that even though it may not feel good, it's comforting because it's safe, because we know it. Even if it's not good for us, we know it. And I had to find a way to break out of that. And that's why I chose to literally sit there and say to myself, I have to go to the water. I cannot put this off any longer. It has to be done. And so I thought, Wednesday or Thursday, I'm going to go. Whatever day Cheryl picks to have coffee, the other day I will go. And I think it worked out perfectly the way it was supposed to work out, because meeting, this woman really kind of put it in my mind that I can do this. I mean, so many ideas sparked in my head after that very short conversation. And I felt inspired. I felt re-inspired. And I felt reminded, she kept calling me a goddess, because that's how everybody refers to each other. They don't refer to each other as, an actual gender. It's like, yeah, because, we're goddesses and this and that. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily jive with that. And the guys are probably thinking, well, what about me? You're amazing too. You were absolutely amazing too. I'm not sure what guys are called, gods, I don't know. But, it's about looking within ourselves. It's about finding that courage, that bravery, that determination, that daring, right? To keep moving forward. When something comes at us, to hold up that shield, right? That's the one thing that's interesting about a lot of the depictions of the houses in Hogwarts that I'm not sure everybody notices. They're all in the shape of a shield. At least the stickers I found and a lot of the things I see online. They're in the shape of a shield. It's a protection, but it's also your house, right? And we have to learn how to shield ourselves from the bad things to keep them away. And if something gets through or around it, or, around it or through it, we have to learn how to not give up. If you fall down, get up where you fell. Don't fall backwards too far, because if you do that, sometimes you get comfortable again. That's the hard part. I had a dream last night in the very short amount of time I slept that something kept telling me, hey, why don't you just let your guard down? And you like to battle, you like to fight us. And in my dream, I said, no. I said, keeping myself here is battle enough already. I don't need to prove anything anymore. My dad and I were talking the other day about how one of our old bad habits was always needing to be right, no matter what. He's like, well, I'll tell you what your Uncle Dean told me, my dad's brother. He said, you don't always need to be right. Or he's like, even when you're right, you don't need to be right. Now, that may not make sense to a lot of people, but what it's saying is, just because you're right, it doesn't mean that you have to sit there and be like, oh yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. You know, because you don't always have to share and try. Well, you know, okay, you can share your opinions because everyone's allowed to have opinions. But when you cross that line to trying to convince somebody that your way is the only way, we get stuck. You know, and my dad and I were actually talking about that. And this is one of the reasons why my dad and I agree to disagree a lot. Because it was like I was mentioning the other day. He was talking about this one person. Oh, they're this kind of minded and they do all their research. It's like everybody does all their research. I mean, you could find the person in the same profession who has a totally different viewpoint who's done all the research. And somewhere in the middle is probably the truth. You know, and that's what we have to look at. It's everything that we share, everything that we believe in, everything that drives us and motivates us. It's a perspective. It's our own perspective. It's our own opinion. And when we stop trying to force people to follow what we choose to believe, we start to see conversations opening up. I wish I could remember what it was called, but older sibling and I saw it on 60 Minutes. And this man started a company, and I for the life of me, like I said, guys, one of the reasons I shared about not sleeping that much is because my brain is just kind of going in and out, right? It's like my brain is falling asleep, but even though I'm a wide awake. But he sits two people down of opposite political views. They don't know anything about each other, but they have to sit there and talk for, I think, like half an hour or an hour. And they're not allowed to talk about religion. They're not allowed to talk about politics, which forces them to get to know one another. A lot of times we see people who may not jive the same way we do politically or religiously, and we immediately judge them, thinking, well, they're stupid. Some of them are just stupid, period. I'm not naming names. I'm just saying across the board. Some people are just, you know, they're so narrow-minded. They don't know how to see other sides. But that's why he did this. He wanted to sit people down and show them, look, just because this person thinks one way doesn't mean they're not like you. It doesn't mean they don't have a family. It doesn't mean that they don't have issues. It doesn't mean that they don't have financial problems. What it means is you just think differently in one arena of your life. You know, and do you really want to step into that arena and spar all the time because you have different opposing views? No. My dad and I have opposing views on certain things. So we agree to disagree. Because funny enough, and I feel bad the way I answered, but my dad says, because I told him, I said, yeah, I said, I've gotten past this need to always be right. And I said, even when I wasn't right, because I said, it's just not worth it. And I said, a part of that for me was just a defense mechanism. And he says, well, you know where you got that bad habit from, right? And I'm thinking, the way he said it, I'm like, who, Mom? And I felt bad. He's like, no, me. Another thing I love about my dad, he's honest. He takes credit for even the bad things that he does. Like that bad habit. But it made me think like, oh my God, that's why he and I would argue sometimes. I rarely argue with my dad. But sometimes we'll get into conversations and it's like we won't stop. Because we would just keep going and going and going because we both wanted to be right. And when that happens, it does not end well. I can promise you from experience, it does not end well. How many people have lost relationships because they argued over something, right? Maybe politics, maybe religion. You know, I've seen friends implode with each other over politics. And then I see these things that say, you know, don't sit there and say, you know, friendship should be stronger than politics. Friendship should be stronger than politics. If you have a belief and you don't like something, sit down and talk about it. Don't just walk away from your friends. Because people come and go in politics. And you have to make that choice if you want to let your friends go. I mean, if they didn't mean that much to you anyways, and you were able to just walk away, then, you know, whatever. But if they were important to you and you're walking away from them, I think you need to step back and ask yourself these things. And a lot of times I just had to sit there quietly going, because I was right in the middle. Literally, I was right in the middle, just kind of watching this tennis game or this ping pong match happening back and forth, until one day I remember I was at Comic-Con and my friends are all like, do you know why so-and-so unfriended us on Facebook? And these people weren't just Facebook friends, they knew each other in person. And I'm all like, well, let me see if I can explain this. And I said, I'm just guessing because I don't know for sure. But they had political opposing views. And I'm not going to judge it. Everybody can do what they want. Everybody's in charge of themselves in this life. And if you have to do something if you have to remove something from your life that does not bring you joy, that's understandable. But in this particular case, it felt a little extreme. Because I know people will sit there and fight me on that. When I say that, friendship should outweigh politics. Or even religion. There are people who will fight me on that. There are people who have fought me on that. Because it's something I believe. But we're supposed to unite as people. Not let things that change over the course of time tear us apart. These are the opportunities that we can take to sit down and have a real honest conversation. Meet somewhere in the middle. Try to understand why somebody feels the way they do about a certain person. Or, or a certain political view is what I meant. But I don't feel that walking away from people that you had fun with in the past is right. And again, that's just my perspective. And people can do whatever they want. Okay? Like I said, I am literally registered as nonpartisan party. So I am that center line in the road. Because I fly free. I mean, but yeah, older sibling says we need some good kumbaya moments. We do. We really do. This world could use a big bonfire with a kumbaya moment. But one of the reasons I wanted to bring up the beach is that when I had that thought, I'm circling back now, sorry. When I had that thought about the coffee keeping me up and realizing, no, it's my subconscious doing this. This is the stuff I'm talking about. And to tie that into the comment I just made, a lot of times when we have so much anger inside of us and so much healing that needs to be done, we project it, we transfer into other arenas or other areas. I don't know why I keep saying arenas. Maybe it's like a gladiator thing, like you jump into this arena and you're fighting something. Whether it's the lions or other gladiators, but you're in there just going, oh, I gotta protect myself. And a lot of times when we have these unchecked feelings, and we may not even know we have them, right? I mean, for years, everything was so repressed inside of me that when it would come up, it'd be like, oh my God, what's happening to me? Why am I feeling this way? And then, the universe put someone in my path who just happened to be a psychologist who asked me all the right questions. And I'm not talking about my therapist at the time. I'm talking about one of my dear, dear friends who I just met through hockey. I randomly met this person. I gave tickets to her then boyfriend for a game. Like I just put it out on one of the hockey sites and said, hey, my sister and I can't go tonight. Who wants these? They're free. I'll transfer them to you. Just first person that answers gets it. And this one person answered. And I actually became really good friends with the girlfriend. We bonded. And, we had a lot of fun until she moved away. But it was like part of my tribe, part of my community, right? It was somebody that came into my life to get something rolling. And this happened before my mother passed. But then the healing was kind of halted when she got sick. And, then I think afterwards it was just kind of like, maybe shutting down is just better, which it's not. So again, circling back, one of the reasons I brought up the beach was I felt very validated this morning by my own thought, because I went to pull out my fizz stick from my little Arbonne can and I pulled out a pineapple. And that's why I wanted to save this card, because this one came up. This is the second card in the reading, or second card in the guidance cards this morning. Take a deep breath, or 3, and then straighten your crown. And I told older sibling this morning when I put that fizz stick in my water that I need some serious caffeine to keep me awake today. I said, I feel like I'm supposed to just, kind of immerse again in nature. And mind you, when I pull these fizz out of the can, I'm just pulling, and there's a bunch in there. I just randomly pull. Whatever I pull is what I drink. And I didn't even know I had any pineapple ones left. I know baby sibling loves a pineapple too. I didn't even know I had pineapple left. But there it was. And I got excited because I thought, oh my God, this is validation. This is exactly what I needed to know that, I was trying to subconsciously make myself so tired so I would change my mind and not go. And when I realized that that's what my subconscious was doing, or maybe the baddies or whatever was trying to poke at me, it just really strengthened my resolve to do this. Now, the card that came up after the pineapple was Dobby's sock. Right? If you've read the Harry Potter books or you've seen the movies, you'll understand the symbolism of this sock. You are no longer a servant to that which weighs you down. You are free. Dobby is free. But I'm sorry, he's so cute too. My mom she likes all these interesting looking characters. Lord of the Rings, she thought Gollum is cute and sweet in his own weird, strange way. Then there's Dobby the house elf. Dobby's so cute and adorable in his own strange way. It's almost like she just wanted to show them, hey, you're worth it. Right? You are worth it. And there's just another story I want to share too in a second, because I don't know that it's actually relevant to this, but it was a memory that came up yesterday. I noticed now that I've kind of healed this complicated part of my relationship with my mom, all these beautiful memories are starting to come back up again that her and I have shared. And but yeah, I want you to remember that, to take your deep breath or 2 and strengthen your resolve. Remind yourself that you are no longer a slave to that which weighs you down. You are free. And if you don't feel that way, then you know what? Find a way to set yourself free. Find a way to release the anchor of dread and just let it fall away to the ocean. Let it fall away to, the depths. And don't go chasing after it. One of my mom's favorite sayings, and it's literally right above my computer as well, don't look back, you're not going that way. And older sibling actually added something very interesting to that. And she said, the only time you should look back is to see how far you've come. So, I was told to pull an affirmator card today. Okay, it just popped into my head. And I love this because it feels like it's really kind of solidifying what I'm talking about. To enjoy something, I simply need to add joy to it. Joy is like butter. I can put it on anything and it'll make it way better. Today, I will add joy to everything. Really slather it on. Today, I am the Orville Redenbacher of joy, and life's popcorn is about to get it. That used to be, I mean, I'm sure it's still popular because I see the microwave boxes, but Orville Redenbacher popcorn was the bomb when I was growing up. It was the thing. I mean, you could buy Christmas tins to give to people that would have that commemorative tin. In fact, I have one. It's what I keep all my change in. But, I know. But I love it. Look how cute look how happy they look. They're like, yeah, we're popcorn. They don't care that they're about to get eaten. They're just living in the moment. Okay? And that's just it. They're enjoying the moment. If you think too far ahead, you're going to trip yourself up. Because, maybe not everybody. People like to plan. But if you're like me, or you have a dinged up mental health, you are going to start overthinking it. If you look too far back, you're going to start doing the what if game. Well, what if I had done this? What if I had done that? I have a friend who's, was talking to another friend. And they said, they were just relaying the conversation to me. They're like, yeah, I was just kind of commiserating with this person and saying, yeah, I really wasted my 30s. And, you know, they recently just turned 40. And in that span of time, which actually I think Monday will be a year, they were saying, they met somebody who is their absolute match, I truly believe. But that person is about 11 years younger than them. And I told her, I said, did you really waste your 30s? Or were you just learning so that you could get to this time and place with this person? Because they needed their time to get to that place. And I am 100% telling you, this guy that she is dating is so mature. And that doesn't mean that 28-year-olds aren't mature. I know they are. Okay, we've all been 28 at one point. But he treats her like a queen. And I don't mean spoils her. What I mean is he listens to her. He sees her. The only argument they have ever had was because something bothered her and she didn't want to say anything to him because it was a trigger from her ex-husband. And the only reason he got upset is he's all, you need to trust me enough to talk to me about these things. That's maturity on a whole nother level. And it's somebody who is comfortable in themselves, who is now helping my dear, dear friend realize all the things that she deserves. And it's fun to listen to it, you know. From time to time when we do meet, they'll show me the text messages. It's like, oh, we had this whole thing going on, and it's so cute to see. And people say, oh, it's because it's new. It's like, no, it's because they communicate. And she's learned before this relationship what she deserves in life. And he is solidifying this for her. He is, you know, he's helping her really kind of buckle down and realize you deserve good things in life. And it's okay. Don't be ashamed of it. Don't be afraid of it. Just embrace it. And one of the big things is that she takes each moment by moment. Sometimes she'll look back and she'll do the what if game. And we talked about this in the past. I told her, I said, you know what, baby sibling even told me when I told her I started playing the what if game, she's like, you need to not do that. And I'm like, you're right. Because I kept thinking, how much of my life have I wasted just to get here? But I'm where I'm meant to be in this moment right now. And it may not feel like it sometimes, but maybe I had to be here right now to show other people that it doesn't matter how old you are. If you want to heal and you want to move forward, or you want to open yourself to all the possibilities of life, it's never too late to start. Anything is possible. Or, as they said in the Mary Poppins musical, anything can happen if you let it. You know, it's like the one card in the guidance deck. Life is good if you allow it. But you have to let it in. And one of the first steps to doing that is learning to trust yourself. And learning to spread the joy onto everything. Like I said, look, they're literally going into that bag of popcorn. All right? And it might seem kind of morbid. You're like, Shelly, it's like the cereal commercial, which I still cannot get past. Okay, it's like, oh, these happy little cereals, and then they show them getting eaten. Sometimes they show them eating each other. It's like, okay, I don't know where that's coming from. Who is sitting in that marketing room? But I know, I don't mean to be judgy, but it's just kind of like, ew. But these guys, they don't care. They've popped. They're living in the moment. They're happy. Don't worry about what's going to happen next. If you fall down, like I said, get back up where you fell, straighten your crown, keep moving forward. Ho'omau, right? How many times have I said that? Ho'omau. It's a Hawaiian word for keep moving forward, perseverance, don't quit, don't give up, all those things. Mostly perseverance and mostly keep moving forward. But it's exactly that. And that's what we need to do sometimes. We need to stop, take a deep breath, get our head back straight, and then keep moving forward. All right. So, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you for bearing with me. I'll be honest with you. That was literally, 9 times out of 10, this stuff comes off the top of my head. And it's only when I actually have an actual topic that I make notes. But I'll be honest with you, the only reason I'm saying that is I'm gonna have to rewatch this because it was coming out of me so fast. I didn't catch it all. I know, it's weird, right? It's coming out of my head, but it's like, well, how could you not catch it all? Because I was circling everywhere. It's like doing figure eights in this perspective. But as baby sibling always says, don't apologize. This is your thing. This is what you do. And it truly is. I mean, I was kind of winging it today. I had things that happened to me today that I really wanted to share, and I was excited about sharing. I'm still excited about the new friend I made yesterday, because I was literally saying I need a bigger community and I need more people physically in my life who, kind of believe along the same lines I do, that I can just be open with, besides my siblings, besides my friend. It's like, I was just thinking, I just need to be a part of a bigger community, a very supportive community. And I have friends. I love all my friends, but they have lives too. And sometimes you just want to get together with people and create and just, because she was talking about jewelry making. And actually what I thought was more interesting is I was telling baby sibling or older sibling, it's like, I really want to learn how to wire wrap. And I said, for some reason, when I watch these YouTube videos, it doesn't always connect. And she was just like, yeah, while we were randomly talking about making earrings and jewelry and all that, I was just like, yeah, I said, the next thing I want to, or no, she asked me, she's all, do you wire wrap? And I said, no, I said, it's something I really, really want to learn. She's like, oh, she's all, I'm not doing it much anymore, but I'll teach you. I just randomly put that out to the universe, and God said, bam, Shelley Marie, all right, you're trusting, I'm going to give this to you. So, we'll see what happens. We'll see if we reconnect again. But the point is I realized that when you leave yourself open to experiences and you leave those doors open and those windows open, the right people will come in. Some people may try to come in that are not the right people, and you can feel that. Use your spidey instincts. Okay? Use that gut instinct of yours that says, I'm not sure. But other people, you can feel their energy. You can feel their vibe. And that's not a metaphysical thing. We're all made of energy, water, all these things. When you have that gut feeling to not turn a certain way, that's the same thing. It's your instincts telling you, or it's your spirit guide, or whatever you want to call it, your guardian angels, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to leave you with a thought. Okay? And you can literally put whatever spin you want to on it. I told older sibling when I heard this, I said, somebody's spirit guide / guardian angel is looking after them. Yesterday, I believe it was, or the day before, sometime this week, a woman was in a grocery store and she was standing at the scratcher machine. Okay, now you may have already heard this. Somebody accidentally bumped into her and she pushed the wrong button. She won $10 million. That's right. She was reaching for one thing, and somebody, however they chose to do it, said, nope, push that one. And they put the right person in the right place at the right time to knock into her. And some people may say, oh, that's just coincidence. Whatever it is, maybe she needed something, maybe she asked for it, and she left herself open to the possibility of this or something better. When we leave those windows and doors open and we put enough energy and light into that room, the good things will come in. Don't shutter yourself in anymore. I've shuttered myself in for years. And it's not a fun place to be. It's a very lonely place. Because I was afraid of being hurt. I was afraid of being let down or rejected or whatever. And I realize now that I'm in charge of my power. And if something doesn't vibe, I have to figure out a way to move past it. But I don't want to shutter the windows and the doors anymore, because I want these opportunities to come in. I want these feel-good moments to happen in my life. I mean, like I said, whether I see this person again or not, the girl that I met yesterday, whether I see them or not again, it was an empowering moment for me, because it was somebody looking at me who did not know me saying, you are capable of anything that you want to do. You can be and do anything. You just have to believe in yourself. every word out of their mouth was so positive. And like I said, when I read their story, it was just like, wow, wow. It was encouraging. It was truly, truly encouraging. Okay, so keep yourself open to possibilities and opportunities, and, you know, keep your eyes open, but most importantly, keep your heart open. That's where you're going to feel it. Your gut instincts, your spidey instincts, or as my friend calls them, the Peter tingles. You know, Peter Parker, the Peter Parker tingles. But keep your eyes, heart, and soul open. Keep the windows open. Keep the doors open. Let that breeze of flow and going with the flow come through and just wrap its arms around you and let it embrace you. And when you feel like you are not vibing at your highest, or you feel like something's trying to knock you off your perch, really embrace that breeze of opportunity and flow and love that comes in through those doors and windows. Wrap it around you like a blanket. Use it as a shield. And remind yourself who you are, and to straighten your crown. Okay? So, again, I hope everybody has a wonderful, 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 fantastic day. Please take care of yourselves. Okay? Tomorrow is Oracle Friday, Aloha Oracle Friday. So if you have thoughts, you need questions answered, whatever, whether you're watching it live or not, feel free to put it out there. I tap in and we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I may be glowing tomorrow because I'm literally going to throw myself in the ocean. The only thing I asked today is a kind of gratitude. I'm like, I'm so happy and grateful that there is nothing that will bite me out there. Keep them away. So I love nature, but I also recognize the fact that I'm going to have to stand at that water and say, you know what? I'm entering your home. Please leave me be. So, respect for everything around us, including nature. Because when you walk out of your house, you're walking into nature's home. Okay? A lot of people don't give a shit about that. A lot of people don't care. But it is important. We need to take care of this planet. Okay? So, I know. How many times can I say goodbye every day? I think we should start keeping count on this. Like, oh, it took Shelly and me like 80 times to say goodbye on Thursday. But, have a great, great day. I will see everybody back here tomorrow. Aloha Oracle Friday. 8:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. Oh, I finally got it. Facebook Live. It is public. Anybody can watch. If you don't want to watch it live, or you don't want to be on Facebook, because I know some people don't like it, it's okay. I do upload it to YouTube under the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas, and then I do share it to Twitter. So, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching, and take care of yourselves. Have a great day.